So what's going on, guys? A lot of things have been happening in the world of technology. Let's start off with Apple versus Samsung. Over in the courts in Tokyo, Japan, they did not win. They ruled in favor of Samsung. So what does this tell me? Really, each country is going to have their own opinions and court systems that can allow a company like Apple to sue, Samsung. But the rulings are going to be different. And in America, we don't have a change to the patent system. Not coming soon. We're going to deal with these lawsuits and then appeals. But the one surprising thing I heard was from the jury foreman on the Apple vs. Samsung case, and he was talking how he had a patent about digital recording and all this other kind of crap. He said he didn't own a smartphone, his wife owned a flip phone, and he was almost proud of it. In that situation, the lawyers found themselves having a juror who had little familiarity with smartphones. At the very least, you want someone to know about these phones. I don't believe this guy had no knowledge of the iPhone. It's all over the place. As this guy talks more, they're saying that they want to send a message to Samsung. In the jury instructions, it just says to award damages. Sending a $1 billion judgment is not only sending a message, it's punishing Samsung, but those are against the jury instructions. So hopefully in the appeals process, with the judges ruling on this, we'll get a better ruling. I'm not complaining, this is the system that we have. It's not the fault of the courts. It really has to do with the patent system and the way things are set up right now. So you can't go around blaming the jurors. The more they talk about this and the more they think they understand all this information, is really funny, because what it comes down to is patents. And if you read those patents and you can get through them in 3 days, you probably didn't read all the information. The people who are familiar with these technology patents, they're saying that there's no way they could have gone through all this stuff in 3 days. So you figure it out. What happened? You get a ruling in Japan, even in the UK. I really do feel Apple has an advantage in the US. Other than that, we have this issue with 4G. Apparently Apple wants to have this feature on the iPhone, but Samsung is already telling Korean newspapers that they're going to sue Apple if they have this feature on their phone. Samsung has about 7 patents pertaining to 4G on a phone. Again, this is where we have issues with the patents. The ITC ruled in favor of Apple against Google Motorola with 3G and Wi-Fi, but over in Germany they ruled against Apple, so it's a little bit weird now. Also, there's news that the CEOs at Apple and Google are now talking to each other. I think Apple's starting to understand they're not going to win every case and they're trying to pick their battles wisely. Maybe because both Apple and Google are located in California, it's not going to be that simple to have public support. What I'm interested in is the standards of these patents in the US, because what's happening now is that Apple is entitling themselves to basic design standards. If you want to call 3G and Wi-Fi a standard, that's fine, but we all know that 4G is not a standard. It's a new technology. So if they allow this in the US for the iPhone, it just shows even more hypocrisy. Like I said in my other video, I think Apple is really profiting off of these decisions because they're not paying up to the companies that own the technology. As much as I feel that Google is protecting Android, I really feel they should not negotiate with Apple, and I also feel that Samsung should pull their hardware from the iPhone. Regardless of all the money they can make from the iPhone, they need to just realize what's going on here, and let's see if Apple can really innovate a phone on their own. That's when we'll know if Apple is really capable of making a smartphone. Apple is not a mobile telecommunications company. They never were, and they're late in the game. As much as they brought something cool to the market, they brought it with other people's technologies, and they're not capable of making a phone on their own. That's what I think. You guys tell me in the comments below, and I'll see you guys later. Cheers.